Hey, Eagle fans! Your Statesboro Walmart is your one-stop shop for all your Georgia Southern football and game day needs. Pick up your GSU sports gear here. We have t-shirts, hats, tote bags, koozies, stadium bleacher seats, car spirit flags, wall pennants, beads, and more right here at the best prices in town. Also, don't forget we can handle all of your tailgating needs with our great food trays, baked goods, and fresh, high-quality meat, seafood, and chicken.
Walmart. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
On this week's show, the Georgia Southern Eagles hope to keep rolling right along as they travel to Annapolis for a matchup with Navy. We'll have interviews and analysis, and we'll also take a look at the Georgia Southern Eagle men's basketball team as they get ready for the 2014-15 season. All that and more as we welcome you inside the Eagles Nest. And welcome inside the Eagles Nest. I'm your host, Josh Aubrey, being joined as always by Matt Yogus, the sports editor and Georgia Southern beat writer for the Statesboro Herald. And Matt, believe it or not, the Georgia Southern Eagles are one win away now of clinching the Sun Belt Championship in their first ever year. And at that, they can also go undefeated in the league. Plenty to play for over the next few weeks. That game, of course, is a few weeks away. A bye week in between that and the Navy game, which comes up this Saturday, which an exciting game upon us. But before we get to that, let's mention briefly last week's game. Georgia Southern ekes out a 3-point victory on the road, and we knew it was going to be a tough game going into it. Texas State, probably the toughest team in the Sun Belt that Georgia Southern will play this year. Your thoughts on last week's game?
Well, it's tough when you go cupcake after cupcake to play a quality opponent, and I think we'll all agree Texas State was a quality opponent. You know, Georgia Southern did enough to win the game. I thought there was a few mistakes by Texas State. Obviously, the pick six on 4th and goal from the 1 that was returned for a touchdown by Matt Dobson was a big deal. But on the same note, you could say the same about Georgia Southern. So I think Georgia Southern probably is, you know, just a little bit better than Texas State as far as that score reflected. I thought it pretty much accurately reflected what was going on. But, you know, it was challenging. Georgia Southern had adversity in the fourth quarter, something they haven't had against the previous 4 teams, or 5 teams rather, with 8 combined wins. So obviously this was an important game for Georgia Southern to get, and anytime you go on the road in conference and get a win, you can't say it enough, you got to be happy about that.
Well, it seems like Georgia Southern has stubbed their toe a little bit on the road. Fortunately for them, they've been able to come out with victories both at New Mexico State, where they struggled a bit, and then this past week at Texas State. And what concerned me was a little bit in that second half overall. Pretty much the offense was held scoreless, and they were almost doubled as far as their offensive production compared to Texas State when you talk about yardage.
Yeah, they were doubled in the amount of plays run, too. I think Texas State ran 93, Georgia Southern ran, I think, 46. So, you know, if you're going to stop an offense from scoring, stop them from running plays, that's a good way to do it. Georgia Southern only ran 10 in the fourth quarter. A lot of that had to do with Georgia Southern. A pick six on a 4th and goal from the 1 is going to leave your defense out there for a long time, 2 series in a row. But Texas State gets an onside kick. Georgia Southern goes 3 and out twice and doesn't help themselves out. That was the most concerning thing. So, yeah, Georgia Southern needs to do a better job of capitalizing when they have the football, because when you play Navy, you better score when you have the football, because you're not going to get it very often.
That's right. Well, let's get into that Navy game. Georgia Southern, of course, played Navy before with Jeff Monken, and you could tell in that game it was 2 teams that were pretty familiar with the offenses that each team ran. Not a lot of points scored, not a lot of first downs, not a lot of yardage. Well, if Texas State was able to kind of control Georgia Southern's offense, particularly in the second half, I got to imagine Navy's going to be ready for them as well.
Yeah, Navy was much better than Texas State. They won by 2 touchdowns, but I think that was a lot closer than the game really was. Georgia Southern going into this one with a high-powered offense, but you and I disagree on this a little bit. I see this as more of a ball control type game. I think Georgia Southern comes out conservative because, like I said, you have to score when you have the ball. You don't want to do it, you know, put yourself in a position to make mistakes. If you shorten the game, that can play into Georgia Southern's favor too, because they're capable of getting, you know, those small chunks of yards, move the chains down the field, and get a touchdown. So I think both teams are going to approach it that way. You know, it'll be a very short game, not a low-scoring game by any means, but I don't think we're going to see it go into the 40s either. So I think we'll see similar approaches to this one.
All right. Well, we had a chance to talk with head coach Willie Fritz and some of the players, as well as getting a couple of coaches from Navy to talk a little bit about the game coming up Saturday.
Most teams only see one triple option team a year because there's only a small handful of teams running in the whole country. So most teams only see it once a year. So us seeing it twice, I think, is going to help us. You know, most of our guys on defense have saw it a lot from here in the past. So I think we'll be, I know our coaches are going to do a great job. They're going to have a great game plan for us, and it's going to be up to us to go out and execute it. But I do feel like playing Georgia Tech is definitely going to help us. You know, the first half Georgia Tech, I think they did a great job. They had a great game plan, and we made some adjustments at halftime. But part of it is just getting used to the speed of the triple option, because it's hard to prepare for it in practice with scout team guys, the pace they're going to run at. So I think playing against Georgia Tech and getting used to the pace of it early in the season in a live game is going to help us when we go to Navy. We'll know the speed of it, and going to have to get adjusted to that. But hopefully we'll do a good job when we go up there right off the bat. Hopefully we have a better first half than we did against Georgia Tech.
As an offensive line, as an offensive unit, we did not play our best game. We're going to want to put that behind us. There's some good things we did. There's a lot of bad things we did. But what we have to do is come together for Navy this week and do the best we can, try to come out with a W.
I played against that offense for probably going on 4 years now, so it's really like just assignment football. You got to do what you're supposed to do at all times, because the only thing they're trying to do is count on somebody, not playing their assignment on one play. If everybody plays their assignment every play, it's our job on defense to stop them and get the ball to our offense, and our offense is going to handle their business.
It's funny hearing you guys say that, because typically that's what you hear from Georgia Southern opponents.
Oh yeah. It's funny how the tables have turned a little bit, but it's always been the same. There's not really much that's changed. They're not going to try to trick us, confuse us, nothing like that. We realized that playing Georgia Tech early this year, there's things that we need to work on. If we come out playing this game like we did the second half Tech game, it might be a good show for us.
You know, they've got a good team, and you know, you watch their scores. They've had close ball games with everybody they played except VMI. You know, onside kick away from beating Notre Dame. They had a good ball game with Ohio State, 34-17. You know, so they've got a very good team.
Will it help you having seen Georgia Tech this year when you play Navy?
I think it might help us a little bit. I think Coach Curtis, the defensive staff, you know, myself, but more so those guys, they've worked against triple option, you know, in a similar type offense for the last 3 years, and our kids understand some of the concept involved with playing this style of offense. So I think that helps. We got some things to look at from the Georgia Tech game, some things we did really good and some things we didn't do so good. So we can use that as a little bit of a training tape, but we also, you know, can't have that be our whole defense also. We got to make sure we throw enough new wrinkles that they've got to make adjustments as well.
We're trying to become bowl eligible. You know, I mean, you can't get to 6 unless you get number 5, and you know, opportunities are running out. And this is a really, really good football team. You know, as I watched them on tape, probably the best option team that I've seen on tape. And really in all my years of coaching. Just really, really good, well coached, great schemes. Their players are really fast. They know exactly what they're doing. On defense, they've been doing a nice job stopping people. It's going to be tough, and everybody knows who Notre Dame is and how good they are, but our fan base has no clue how good Georgia Southern. They're just, who's this FBS team, or you know, they came from one day. They have no clue how good this team is, and it's scary. You know what I mean? Because you know, every time I put on the video and watch tape with these guys, they're really, really good.
Well, we better be ready. The storm is coming. These kids are a good football team. They're fast, athletic, and they have a total package. They play smart, they play together, and it's a lot of pride. Right? So we better get ready to play, because these guys they're going to bring it. So we got to make sure that we're in our A game and we're ready to take them on and get after it.
With more than 100 years of experience under one roof, Complete Car Care on 207 Northside Drive can do it all for your car or truck, gas or diesel, even hybrids, motors, tune-ups, front end, air conditioning, transmissions, electrical. Complete Car Care does it all. When others say no, Complete Car Care says yes. Come see what Michael and his team can do for you at Complete Car Care, 207 Northside Drive.
Well, Matt, shifting gears, let's get a little bit into the basketball season. Georgia Southern's guys get things underway this weekend up in Champaign, Illinois, taking on the University of Illinois. Mark Byington's crew getting things underway for the season. We're going to hear from him on our show for next week, hear from the players in just a moment. But first of all, let's get your thoughts on this year. A big addition in the middle, which should be big for the Eagles, in Trent Wiedemann coming on board.
Yeah, I think this team's going to have a chance to be pretty good if Jelani Hewitt does Jelani Hewitt things and Trent Wiedemann does Trent Wiedemann things. That'll open things up for all these role players that they've brought in. Jake Allsmiller's a guy I think everybody's excited about, number 6 in the country ever in three-pointers made in high school. That's a big deal, and Hewitt's the kind of guy who can get in the paint, draw a lot of attention, and if he can dump it off to Wiedemann when he's doing his thing in the paint or kick it out to a shooter like that, a chance to be pretty good. But there's a lot of young guys. Hewitt and Wiedemann are going to have to keep this team focused on this game. They're young, big environment, Big Ten powerhouse. So it's going to be a fun game. It'll be interesting to see if those guys can, settle in. Georgia Southern might make a game out of it.
As for talking about the season, we did get a chance to talk with some of the players about the upcoming year.
We're young, obviously. We got 7 new freshmen coming in, but we also got 5 seniors that have really led us perfectly, prepared us for what's to come this season, and we're just excited to get it on the way. It's just going to be exciting. I mean, a bunch of different teams, bunch of different athletes that are all around the league, and just having the ability to have an opportunity to play against some of these great players in the league, it's going to be fun, and we're really ready to match up against them.
Just our team in general, 7 new guys coming in, it's exciting. They're excited. They're ready to go, they're ready to learn, and they're ready to be led by the 5 seniors. We like the pace and the speed of the game that we're going to play at. Coach Byington, he gives us a lot of freedom to make plays and make decisions out there on the court. Going into the Sun Belt, new teams, just traveling, just everything. It being my senior year, I'm just excited overall, and I'm ready to get going.
It was good for me last year working on my vocal leadership, not being able to play, but it's so much better this year being on the court. It's just, I have a whole better attitude because of it. It's going to be an exciting team to watch. We shoot the ball really well. We're really athletic. I think we're going to get after teams defensively. We got a lot of old guys. We got a lot of young guys. So, there's going to be some, sometimes when we struggle, but I think we're going to learn from it and get better because of it. Scoring points is the funnest part of basketball, and I think we're going to be able to do that really well this year. We're going to get after teams defensively, like I said, and it's going to turn into quick off.
And one note before we go, the Sun Belt Men's Soccer Championships being held here in Statesboro over at Eagle Field this weekend. Get out there and support Georgia Southern if you get an opportunity. Well, for Matt Yogus, I'm Josh Aubrey. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.